Okay, welcome back to Lindstrom Insurance Agency. My name's Morgan. Here's my email, phone number, and as always, got the social media profiles here. Today, I would like to go over another one of my blogs we got here. Let's talk about some car insurance. So, people tell me sometimes, they say, hey, I've got XYZ insurance and I pay X amount of money for my insurance. Um, I don't think that's something you can beat. Well, let's kind of go over some details here of why some insurance places are cheaper than others. So, um, something I learned in my insurance class I took. Basically, by definition, to insure a 24-year-old male who's single, no accidents, no tickets, great credit, would in theory cost the exact same amount to cover from each insurance agency or company. Sorry, agencies and companies are different. Um, so how they make those numbers go up and down is what they offer. If they charge more or less for coverage limits, deductibles, add-ons to the policy. Add-ons are things like if you have full glass coverage, if you have um, like a low deductible for comprehensive, if you have towing, if you have coverage for if you get in a wreck and you don't have a means of travel, they will help you pay for another vehicle to rent while it's being repaired or while you purchase another one. So let's kind of take a look here. XYZ Insurance gives you the best rate, gives you their insurance cards, and you walk out the door thinking you're all great and happy. All that you care is that you're insured because it's the law that you're insured, and two is it's cheap. We live in Utah. It's one of the most competitive places for shopping around. Everybody wants to get the best rates. So you're on your way home driving your 2000 Honda Civic. Your friend sends you a text message as you drive through an intersection. You take a quick look to see who the message is from. By the time you look up, it's too late. You just crashed into a brand new 2016 Toyota Sequoia. The family of six just purchased this Sequoia for $52,000, brand new off the lot. They're on their way home too. So three of those six people you hit are rushed to the hospital in ambulance. They're needing some pretty urgent care. Two of them are checked just because the airbag went off, and one needs to get some glass removed and get some stitches. So I looked up some numbers here. Ambulance ride is going to be about $432. You got an emergency room visit for number one person here, which is $35,000. The second injured person costs $17,000. Number three is $10,000. Four is $8,000. Six is just a vital check from an EMT who showed up on the scene, just costing $200. Now, these numbers are not that crazy if you've ever been in the emergency room before. I had an emergency room visit just from wrecking a four-wheeler that was about $8,000. So, I mean, these numbers do pile up pretty quick. So the injuries total $70,832. Your personal medical bill comes to $5,000. So you're insured at the state minimums, which is how they got you the cheapest rate, which is $25,000, $65,000, and $15,000. So for everybody else that doesn't speak insurance language, which of course I didn't either, so that's $25,000 per person. So per accident, per person, you have a $25,000 limit that somebody can be injured and have medical expenses, and your insurance will cover up to. You go over, then that's your money that you got to pay out of pocket. And it covers up to $65,000 for an entire accident. And your $15,000 is what you're covered for property damage. So we can kind of already see a problem here. That Sequoia costed that family $52,000. So your Honda is going to be paid out $22,950, and the Sequoia is going to have to be paid out to $52,000, which totals $54,950. So just on property damage, this is what the insurance company is going to come after you for. Now, that's just for the property damage. Your property limit was $15,000. Now, going back to the medical, number one, he's okay because he's under your $25,000. Um, but your other person who was injured here that came to the $35,000, you're going to have to pay immediately an extra $10,000 on top of that person just because they went over your $25,000 per person in an accident. So you're kind of kicking back thinking, well, I don't really have that kind of money to pay. You're just going to kick back, go to court, and pay your whatever bill it is to go to court, and you'll claim bankruptcy and you'll be free and clear. Well, not with insurance. That's kind of miscommunication, misconception, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to be able to get out of this. Your wages will actually be garnished until the debt has been paid. Um, and there's circumstances where you get some jail time. So if you are lucky and you have a 2000 Honda Civic, you just get in a fender bender. Most cars on the road are actually worth more than $15,000. So that's something I looked up. So 33% of the vehicles in Utah are worth more than that. So 1 out of 3 cars, if you hit 1 out of 3 cars, you're going to pay out of pocket for that car if you do some extensive damage. Um, so this is kind of why most people go for the 50-100 or the 100-300. So this means that you've got $50,000 per person and $100,000 per accident. And this one's $100,000 per person, $300,000 per accident. This is definitely obviously for people that own a home or have some assets to protect. But not only that, it's so that your wages don't get garnished for having the state minimums. And then obviously you want to get your property coverage to at least $50,000. Now here's what's crazy. You think that some companies will all have you pay less for the 2565. Now this isn't true. Believe it or not, some companies are actually cheaper if you go with the 5100, and that's because they know that the more risky drivers go for this category. I'm not saying all that offer these are cheaper. Some of them are more expensive. Some are only dollars more for six months to a year. So really, it's a lot more worth going for the, even if you just go to 5100 and you have a $50,000 property coverage. I'm telling you, that's the bare minimums I would go with, just because of kind of what we talked about up here. So basically, you want to go with the luck of the Irish and take your chances, or you want to get covered for something that you can sleep at night, not worry about getting sued and have your wages garnished. I've got a good friend who's actually being sued right now, and he was given the state minimums. He just told the insurance company he wanted the cheapest thing possible. Got the 2565 with $15,000. Got in a 3-car pileup and did some serious damage. So he's looking at having some of his wages garnished, unfortunately. So if you don't want that to happen, go ahead and give me a call or a text here. You can come on my website and put in your details for a quote. As always, check out my page. Give me a call, text. Follow me on these things for updates, and look forward to working with you. And thanks for your time for watching.